What's up, everyone? My name is Jay. Welcome to the Griddy Fantasy Football podcast. Now, I don't know if anyone actually listens to these 2-minute introductory podcast episodes. Maybe I'll be the only one that's listening to this. But I did just want to lay out how things are going to work around here. So if you are listening for whatever reason, maybe you just like the sound of my voice. I've been told I have a calming effect on people. But whatever your reason is, thank you for listening. Here at Griddy FF, we understand that there's different depths of involvement in the fantasy football community. And not to pull out a TikTok phrase on you guys, but there really is levels to this. A lot of people are at a very casual level. And before I go any further with this, let me just say, I hate saying casual, because in the sports community, if you call someone a casual, you're saying that they don't know ball, or they don't know what they're talking about. And it's one thing to call your friend a casual, or maybe some random guy in an Instagram comment section. But from an analyst perspective, I don't want to talk down on anyone, because who am I to do that? I feel like in the fantasy football space, a lot of people get in these habits of trying to act like they're better than you. Like sometimes they'll aggressively victory lap their good takes. Other times they'll give you an opinion. Like maybe they'll tell you not to draft a certain player. But they'll present it in a way that makes it seem like you're an idiot for drafting that player. When really, we can't be 100% certain about anything. That's kind of what frustrates me about a lot of the fantasy analysis that I see online. So here at Griddy FF, we don't want to be like that. We're going to be right about things. Hopefully right about a lot of things. But we're also going to be wrong about things. Everyone in the fantasy football space is going to be that way. If someone was really right about everything, so all their fantasy football opinions are correct, they could make a website and post their rankings, we would all follow those rankings, but fantasy football wouldn't be fun anymore because we would know exactly what's going to happen. We would know who's going to win our leagues by week 1. There's a big gray area when it comes to fantasy football, and it's important to respect that because that's what makes it fun. That's why we're not here to act like we're better than you, or act like our opinion is the only one that's correct. We're here to help you. We just want to give you some information and empower you to make your own decisions with it. If you are at a casual level, maybe you're just in one league with your friends, or a work league, and your draft decisions are just based on players that you recognize from real life. That's okay. You're still an important part of the fantasy football community, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people forget. Fantasy football is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to draft players that you want to draft, that you want to root for. I remember early on in my fantasy career, I drafted Devontae Adams in the first round. Not that it was a bad pick, it actually was a great pick. But I only drafted him because I saw a clip of him scoring a touchdown from the year before. I didn't know anything about roster construction or his advanced metrics or anything like that. It was just that one clip. So don't let these analysts on Twitter get you down when they make fun of people for drafting guys that you drafted, because they're kind of missing the point. Some of you guys might be a step above that level. Maybe you do a little bit of research, print out some rankings, or even make your own rankings going into your draft. That's awesome. I feel like we'll be really helpful for you guys. Or maybe you're all the way there and you do months of research and you like diving into the numbers. You know what yards per route run is. I was watching Sunday Night Football a few weeks ago and Chris Collinsworth said something like, I'm going to pull out this stat that means nothing to anybody except me. And it was just yards per route run. And I was like, this is a very basic stat in the fantasy football community. But maybe you like numbers like that. We're here to help you too. And that's really where this podcast comes in. Because this podcast isn't about start sits. It's about deeper trends, historical data, and really forming thought processes. With this podcast, you can expect a mix of content. So there's going to be 10 to 20 minute episodes that are very data driven, just giving you the information. And we also have planned longer episodes, like a more traditional podcast conversation that you would think of. There's currently 4 of us contributing content right now. So there's me, there's Spencer, there's Karsten, and there's Evan. So there's a mix of opinions for you to hear from. We have a lot planned for Griddy Fantasy, but for now, our goal is just to make you a better fantasy player, regardless of what level you're at. And I really do think that fantasy football is a spectrum, like most things. You have your beginners, you have your more advanced players, and you have people in between. I know when I started out, I was very much at that beginner level. I was in a 6-man league with my friends. We didn't even have any money on it. And I'm pretty sure by the final week, my entire roster was just Browns players. But I made that evolution over time, and I would hope so if I'm going to be talking about fantasy football on a podcast. But that's something I hope this podcast could do for you. And I understand that not everyone wants to make that evolution. Not everyone wants to spend more time thinking about fantasy football. I get it. But on some level, I feel like everyone wants to feel smarter than everyone else, especially their league mates. And at the very least, you probably want to win your league more. After all, why are we playing fantasy football if we don't want to win our leagues? That's kind of why I wanted to keep these episodes short, so it doesn't take a big time investment out of your day to learn more about fantasy football, to learn how to think about it the right way and ask the right questions. You don't even have to do any research because we're the ones doing it for you. And for those of you that have already made that evolution, I hope we have something to offer you too. Maybe just give you a perspective that you hadn't considered before, or present you with data in a way that you hadn't thought of. We're just here to help you guys and hopefully win you some money along the way. That's all I have to say for now. And if you really were just listening because you like the sound of my voice, that's really cool. And And the good news for you is that we have more episodes coming out soon. There's one out already by the time you're listening to this, probably. And my voice is in it, so make sure to check it out.